Hi, y'all. Welcome to another edition of Fruitful Sex. And today I will be speaking of heartship. Just like there's hardship, I call it heartship. And that is when us women are emotional about things that our man is not doing for us or not meeting our expectations. So let's start with the small things and go to bigger examples. And just to let you know that if we do not deal with these emotions in the beginning, it becomes a slippery slope and it builds up and it builds up till it's like a big ball and breaks at the bottom and then hell breaks loose. So let's deal with a situation whereby your guy maybe doesn't know the type of ice cream that you like. And he was so nice to, come over and bring some ice cream, but he brings vanilla because he likes vanilla and you don't really like vanilla. So you say to him, "Oh, that's so sweet, but I really like chocolate." And he's like, "Oh, come on, give it a try. It's really good. It's you know this brand, and I really like it." So you taste it and you're like, it's okay. It's nothing great. But the next time when he comes over or visits or meets you in a park or wherever, your picnic, and he brings vanilla again and he's hoarding out on his vanilla, and you look at him and you think to yourself, and you don't have to say it, you think to yourself, he knows I like chocolate, or did he forget because he doesn't care that I like chocolate? Or is he just again taking care of his needs? So this time, you may not want to eat the ice cream. Just say, no, thank you. Okay. But I will tell you something about that individual. That individual, uh, for one, if you start saying, like, why didn't you get me chocolate? You're already going to look bad because, see, a man doesn't like when you start telling him that he's doing something wrong and he doesn't want to hear that you're being motherly or complaining. He doesn't even want to hear you complaining. So, guess what, ladies? Don't. You know what? Literally almost write him off. Literally just think, hey, you know what? Because a man that's crazy about you is going to be like, oh my God, her favorite is chocolate. I'm going to, you know what? I'll get vanilla. I'll get chocolate. I mean, what does it cost to get an extra ice cream cone? Or when you get these men, oh, we're going to share an ice cream cone. Share, honey, listen. Okay, I love sweets. I'm not sharing a dessert with you. You can buy me my own dessert, and I can buy my own dessert if you can't even have the decency to buy me my own dessert. So, ultimately, don't be pointing it out. Just chill off with him. Honestly, chill him like that ice cream because he is not thinking about you, girl. He's thinking about himself, and you're going to get a little taste of that vanilla that you don't like. That's already paving a way to a bad relationship. Okay. And it's those little indicators that give you the idea of where this is going to lead to you. Okay, where it's leading. I have to say, there's like Italian men, for example, they're not going to get that wrong because they've had mothers that if they brought the wrong brand of tomato sauce at home, she's going to turn around and say, hey, go right back. I don't want this sauce. I want this in this brand from Italy. Okay, I can't cook with that. And those mothers were so demanding at that young age that that man knows better not to bring his mother something that she doesn't want. He knows to bring a woman what she wants because then she's going to be happy. She's going to be singing in the kitchen and making an amazing meal as opposed to being upset and angry. So that man already that brings the vanilla ice cream when you've told him you like chocolate already, he has not been raised right. He doesn't care what you like, and he's not even going to spend the extra money to give you what you want, nor does he care to give you what you want for your own happiness. So that already is not good. Now I'm going to give you an example of good friends of mine. They've been together since high school. They've been together forever, literally. And every time I go visit, my friend is yelling at her boyfriend, stop throwing the cigarettes in my flower beds. And he goes and throws the cigarette in the flower bed. And I'm thinking, oh, that is so disrespectful. Like, I would not tolerate that at all. But on the other hand, I'm not going to argue with him about it either. I mean, if I was to accept a man that's going to smoke, and if he doesn't have an ashtray for his habit, I mean, he had a lighter to light the cigarette. A smoker doesn't have an ashtray. I mean, that sounds a little odd. Okay. And throwing and polluting the environment and nature with his toxic cigarette that he's going to throw in your, no. Guess what? I would solve the problem. I wouldn't constantly repeat. I would only say something 2 times to a man, and if it doesn't register, it's finished with me. I am not going to repeat and train a man and tell him my needs, and he ain't going to register. Okay, because then he ain't all there, and he can't handle all of this relationship. Believe you me. So I tell you what I did. I went into my friend's kitchen because this was like 3 years in a row that she was yelling out the window in the summertime, telling him not to throw the cigarettes, and there's still no ashtray. I went in her kitchen, opened a can of what was it? Plum tomatoes or whatever. And I dumped it out in a container, rinsed it out, found a rock on their property, put a rock in, and said, Brian, you're now going to use this. This is your new ashtray. And he's like, finally, someone gives me an ashtray. And I'm like, wow. And years after, he was still using that ashtray. It was piling up with those cigarettes. But guess what? She wasn't yelling out the window at him anymore. And he was actually putting his cigarettes in that can. So, ladies, solve your problem. Be a problem solver and don't be nagging or repeating. Because if you have to do that, again, he wasn't raised right. He has no respect for himself or for you. And it's just going to be a trail of arguments. And why do you want to live your life like that? You don't want to live your life like that. So I'm going to give you an example. So here is a puzzle. Actually, it's called food porn. And that's what's, really satisfying is food and looking at great food. But just like how there are all of these pieces of the puzzle, these are like all of the men out there. Okay. These are all the men. And ultimately, what you want to do is you should be finding the piece to your puzzle. Okay? The piece to your puzzle. The piece that fits to your puzzle. Okay? Don't be wasting your time with all the other pieces that don't fit in your puzzle. Okay? Because you're wasting your time with trying to get all of these other pieces to fit in this one piece. And you are very unique and you are your own person and there is a perfect fit for you. Okay. Why? Because all of us are so vastly different. Our tastes, who we are as a person, what our tolerance is, what we're willing to accept. I mean, can you imagine just being with a guy for his looks or for his money or whatever, and then you find out he's human and he farts? Do you really want to see a man that's farting, that you don't really like him and you're just with him there for his money? You suddenly will realize that those mundane everyday day things will turn you right off. But someone that is your match and that really gels with you and fits with you, you'll laugh at something like that. I mean, you're not going to look at it like, oh, you're so gross and you're so sick and whatever. It's not gross anymore because you're so made for each other and you're accepting that person of his human. Okay. Someone throwing cigarettes on a flower bed is not being human. That's just being rude and ignorant and disrespectful to nature and to his girlfriend. Okay. So you're wanting to find someone that is your perfect match so that you can accept certain things. Okay. Now, as we get to bigger examples, let's say, for example, you are dating and he calls you last minute, like, oh, you know, it's 11 o'clock at night. Let's get together. No, girl. Don't do that. Just because he has nothing else better to do and now, he decides he's going to give you a call. No, you're busy and it's late. And if it's a beginning of a relationship, whatever you do, ladies, do not meet a man late at night, because that could be considered a booty call. What do you do in the dark when the rest of the world is sleeping? What are you going to do? Go for a walk through the museum? No. You know what could happen. Okay. So don't do that, ladies. Okay. That is just a man using you. Why? Why can't he meet you in the day? He should be planning a date 3 days in advance, because that means you're a priority. I mean, there's a book called The Rules. Don't you know the rules, ladies? If a man is calling you in the last minute, it means that his guys and his boys weren't available and you just the fill in girl. You don't want to be the fill in girl. You always want to be that priority. He has to be crazy about you. Crazy about you, dreaming, thinking, wanting you. I mean, that's what it's going to take for him and that relationship to last for years. Okay. You want to last for years, and in the first couple months, you're just a last minute girl and a fill in girl? No, he's got to be telling his friends, oh my God, I can't wait to meet her. You're busy. You are busy, and he has to plan time with you to get a date with you. Okay. And that's how it's going to be. And if he wants more of you on the regular, and he wants to get an evening date, he needs to lock it down, ladies. That's how you lock it down. That is how you lock it down. Is you busy woman and you want to see me on the regular, you need to put a ring on it. Okay. If you want to see me on a regular, okay, there has to be a commitment. If there's no commitment, then, you're busy and you're doing other things and you don't take last minute calls. Absolutely not. Okay. Because you should be focusing on your life. Okay. Wasting your time with this and that man. Okay. Is wasting your vitality, wasting your youth, wasting your opportunities, wasting things where you could be generating a future for yourself, making money for yourself, making a business for yourself, and really then maybe even connecting with the real fly guy that's really meant to be on your level, as opposed to just settling for this dude over here that's like, hey, want to hang out? No, girl. You don't want to be a hangout girl. Okay. You're not a hangout girl sitting on a campsite just hanging out and you got nothing better to do and you're going to roast a hot dog on a marshmallow and be settled for that. No, it's not the weekend camp away. Okay. This is your life. Okay. And when you're dealing with the long term of your life, you need to ensure that a man's intentions have you as a top priority. And guess what? He may not be attracted to you enough. He may not respect you enough, and he may not appreciate you enough for you to be his top priority. And guess what? That's when you have to have the smarts in your mind to say, he's just not that into you. Okay. And you need to chill it off, girl. You need to chill that off and find someone that really, really wants you. And don't get me wrong, there are some very, very savvy men. I mean, European men, Italian men, Latin men, they are very savvy to let you know, hey girl, you're the one. Oh, here's some flowers. Oh, bonita. I mean, they're very smart, passionate men. And smart, passionate men know how to get to the gold. Okay. They know the tricks, but in time, you've got to see the pattern. Is it last minute thing? Is this animal coming out where he's just like, oh, I got to hook up right now? It's these little indicators that over a long period of time, he can't play that game for a long period of time. That's why it takes time to get to know somebody and to understand if he's playing other people, what is he doing? I mean, ultimately, uh, I personally feel you should find a guy that is not playing the field. Okay. Because these shows like The Bachelor, that makes it look like that, you can hang in there while he's, playing the field with a number of other women, isn't right spiritually. You know why? Because when he's got a little bit of Sandra, Monica on the side, and all of this, how can he even register what is true when he's, getting the little best of all these women for that little minute. I mean, everybody could put their best foot forward. Okay. Everyone can put their best foot forward when you're seeing them once in a blue moon and it's a little bit of, romance there. And therefore, you won't be the priority because he's getting the best of Monica, he's getting the best of Rita, he's getting the best of Susan, right? So ultimately, you kind of want to narrow it down to say, if you're on a dating site, look, if you want to get to know me and I want to get to know you, how about we both, get off of our dating site and get to give each other 30 days to get to know each other, for an example. Okay. And if he thinks that, well, I don't want to do that because, I've got Monica and Sandra and Susan on the go. Well, you got your answer, girl. Okay. He wants the Chinese buffet. He's not looking for a committed relationship. Okay. And that should be your indicator. You should not feel scared to say to a man, I mean, one of these girls, I'm surprised. One of these girls on The Bachelor never said, listen, you and me, okay? This is who I am. I want you. Matter of fact, I'll marry you and have your kids. Okay. We've had a first great date, but if you want me, do not kiss any others women because I'm going to see the back of this show. If you want me, just be with me for the rest of the show. And these other women are insignificant, which means hands away. Okay. Meaning like, excuse me, when a woman turns in, just give me that kiss. No. Okay. I wouldn't be just giving a man a hug or a kiss because he's on the show or because he likes me. What kind of charity is that? Charity kiss, charity hugs. No, 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 no. There should be a barrier, a boundary. Okay. If this guy's hugging and kissing everybody, okay, that is not the spiritual value system that I would want. Okay. Unless you're the gut hugging guru and that's your thing. No, you don't want to be mingling your energy with other people. And now there's people turning around and saying, people that got the COVID shot is changing their DNA and that's giving off bad vibrations. And the people that are unvaccinated don't want to be around them. So, I mean, energy is a big thing. So ultimately, you really should be connecting with someone that where they are solely focusing on you. Okay. And there are other indicators as we go into the relationship. Like, for an example, it's your birthday. And he turns around and says, yeah, I don't believe in buying gifts. I don't get caught up in all of that. So I just came over and here I am. Like, he's your birthday gift. Girl, that is leading down a road of years of disappointment. I can appreciate if you don't want to feed into the system and go buy a $3,000 bracelet, but what stopped you from building a gazebo in the backyard? Okay, what stopped you from washing my car? It's as simple as that. When it is your birthday, it should be everything is special for you. That's what people do for someone that they really care about. They get balloons and they do things and they get the cake and they want that person to feel like it is their true special moment. And it is. It's the return of their birth. And it is very special. Okay? It is. And it happens once a year. And if once a year a guy cannot make an effort, girl, please take my good advice and run. Say to him, okay, well, you know what? I know a guy that is willing to spoil me. It's just, you deserve to be spoiled, girl. You've got this one life here, okay? And you want to enjoy it. You don't want to sit and go, oh, God, I wish that I could have got, some flowers. Can you imagine a girl that doesn't even get flowers on her birthday? That is heartbreak. That is hardship. That is disappointment. Okay. And ladies, no one deserves that. You don't deserve that. It doesn't take very much to for him to grow some flowers, pick some flowers, buy some flowers, $10. I mean, you can buy a single rose for $1, for $2. Okay. Doesn't have to be in the biggest, fanciest shop that costs $10, $15. Okay. It's a thought that counts. On that day, it should all be about you. And I recommend you do the same to your man. Okay. It should all be about him. And even with your parents and your siblings, when it comes to a birthday, I think you should really let them know that they are very special and make their day special so that they go, thank you so much. And the feeling, you want to build that beautiful feeling, right? So let's speak of other disappointments. Let's go into real hardship and heartbreak. Let's say all of a sudden you find out there's someone else. Ladies, that's the worst. I hear stories and I can't help to get very upset when I think of people messing around and there's someone else. And I'm very sorry, ladies, if you're going through that. And you know what, ladies? Don't feed into that. Don't feed into that because you will only hurt yourself. When you find out that there's somebody else, you need to say to them that you can't accept that. You can't accept that. Okay. It's a whole different ball game. If you're swingers, you're in a open relationship, then really you don't have a relationship. I mean, you have a friend that you hang out with and you do whatever you want. And that's not what this channel is about. Okay. Ultimately, if someone has his emotions, his heart, his physical, his sexual energy with someone else, that is a problem. And even if you aren't giving him sex and you're locking it down till marriage or the commitment, that is not a reason for him to go somewhere else. It's not. It's not. Okay. He should care and respect you and love you enough. I mean, when you were a kid, your mother fed you, okay? And now you take care of your needs and you feed yourself. You don't have someone at an adult age feeding your face, okay? Same thing. If he's all excited, he can take care of himself. He doesn't have to go and rub up against someone else that he doesn't care about because he's an animal and he can't control himself. I mean, ladies, okay, we need to raise the standard here. Ladies, it's time to raise the standard. Okay. There were goddesses, queens, princesses that ruled lands. And these men killed for them, built pyramids for them, did everything for a woman. And now you can't even tell a man to take out the garbage. Ladies, how you're even tolerating this level of nothingness, emptiness, receiving nothing, and this man is absolutely useless and giving and doing nothing. I do not recommend it. Okay. It's time. The standard has to be raised. Okay. The standard has to be raised. The bare minimum of cleanliness, washing your car, taking out the garbage, bringing flowers on your birthday, these basic minimums have to be met. And if they aren't, that man is still in primitive mode. I mean, I don't believe we came from evolution. I don't see a person in the middle of evolution where there's a caveman. But you know what? If he is going to be that man in the middle of evolution and be a caveman, you don't want to be around it. You don't want to be around the caveman. No, you do not want to tolerate a caveman. He's primitive. The mentality is low. Okay? He couldn't care less if he picks up the food right from the ground there and eat it. Okay? He's the type that, gets a wound and thinks rub some dirt in it. No, ladies. You need a man that has evolved. He is all together. And spiritually, he is up here. He is resonating on a much higher level and a much higher frequency, that he has integrity. Okay. For an example, I'll give you an example. If you meet a guy on a dating site and he gives his number and you call and he's like, "Oh, I'm on a conference call. I'll call you back." And the next day he doesn't call you back. And you're disappointed and you think, "Oh my goodness." Well, you're not going to get extreme and start sending rude messages. A couple days after, you write to him and you politely say, "Why did you give me your number if you weren't going to keep in touch?" Well, let's say he turns around and says, "Well, you know, I met someone else, or I'm involved somewhere else or whatever." And you just politely say, "No problem. It's okay. But I would have appreciated you having some integrity." Okay? Because that's how we move forward in life. Someone that says they're going to call you and then they don't has no integrity. Okay? And if you don't mention it to that person without getting crazy and mad, you just say, "You know what? I didn't hear from you. It would have nice if you had some integrity." But if you keep tolerating and this person keeps making promises and leaving you flat, I mean, girl, how many chances do you want to give to someone that absolutely is a washout? This guy is a dusty. This guy is absolutely useless to himself and to anyone else around him. And you want to know something? If you allow that to affect you, you are going to have hardship. Don't have hardship. Okay. You want to feel good all the time. Be with someone that is cooperative. And if somebody really does something, I mean, we're talking about now the real bad things, steals from you, cheats on you, abuses you, hits you, anything like this, you need to cut it off. I don't care how you feel about that person. If it's a marriage, it's a very different story. If you make that commitment under the oath of God, then you need to get counseling or whatever, and that person needs help. But I'm not talking about a marriage relationship here. I'm talking about getting to the commitment and the marriage relationship. If a man uh, lays a hand on you and is violent and is not keeping his word, you have to cut it off. There are way too many men out there that could be your perfect puzzle. So, ladies, let's avoid hardship. Let's hold men to a standard, and please start raising your standards. Okay. It shouldn't be the bare minimum that he just shows up. No, ladies, it is not going to be a fruitful relationship. And it definitely will never be fruitful sex if you end up committing with him, because that man is going to be selfish. Okay. You want a man that is putting you as the priority. And if you, as a woman, are not the priority, he doesn't feel for you, he doesn't love you enough, you are not the one. Accept that. Please accept that. And do not go down the road of hanging in there and thinking you're going to change him, and thinking that, playing the waiting game and having a bunch of opportunities for yourself, or his opportunities, will lead down to the path of good fortune and him making a commitment. Ladies, a man knows right in the first few months if you're the one, and he will make the commitment. So don't drag it on for years and don't get that ring on it and make that commitment and waste your youth and your time. Okay? Because you are just going to lead to hardship, heartbreak, and suffering. If a man is making you cry and you feel hurt, that's your gut telling you that he's not a good man for you. He's not a good match for you. And do not fight. And why did you do that? And you need to understand this. And you know how you're making me feel. And oh God, girl, no. When this starts coming up and erupting, that that already is telling you, if you have to spew the pleading and the begging and the swearing and the changing and the converting and the conditions and all of this, girl, he is not the man for you. I don't care how good looking he is. I don't care how rich he is. I don't care who he is. He is not your match. And he is just going to drive you crazy. And you want to know something? The men that are putting you through that and then are just like, whatever, she's crazy. You know what? Screw, you got to write him off. Okay. I ran into a guy that I knew from years ago. Really, he was a very good looking guy. And I said, oh, God, nice to see you. How are you? And he's like, oh, are you married? And, me, I said, what man's gotten this goodness? I said, no, no, I'm all good. What about you? He goes, oh, I got married and this is my kid. And, she was a crazy one. And I said, well, you married the crazy one. And I literally walked away thinking, what a bad man. Okay. For him to even say the woman that he married was crazy. No, let me make it very clear. It is men that will make a woman crazy. Okay. When you see a woman go crazy, you know what it is? It's the man that she's with. And ladies, it is up to you to either allow him to make you go crazy or cut it off. Because you know what? A smart intellectual woman that levels up is not going to allow that rage and that bad feeling to erupt inside. She's just going to try and say, "Oh, okay. Well, I see the picture. You're not for me." Later, that is what a real quality woman will do. Will realize that he just showed his true colors. He did this, and this, and that. And you're not going to tolerate it. And when you get that upset feeling like, oh my God, he really disappointed me. Girl, you need to cut it off right there, right from the beginning, because this will create a universe of where women's values and standards are elevated, where a man now has to meet our needs because they become very smart and they have depleted you to the point where if he even does the bare minimum, like he finally, even though he's an hour and a half late, he at least showed up. No. If it's the least that he could do, that means that wasn't enough. It isn't enough for a long standing relationship because if he shows that in the beginning, you can imagine what years with that individual will be like. It'll be years of suffering and disappointment. So, ladies, I want you to level up, hold it to a standard, and be polite and just communicate. You know what? I would have really appreciated you having integrity. And you know what? I'm busy for the next few weeks. And chill it off, girl. Cut that off. Okay? So I wish you the best of luck. Find that perfect piece to your puzzle because there is only one. Bye for now.